Hey you guys, welcome back to another video on Michigan Sports Talk here. In this video we're going to be previewing the Michigan versus Nebraska game. Now this is going to be a actually interesting game here, as it's going to be played at Lincoln in Nebraska at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Could be a trap game for Michigan. Nebraska is actually looking pretty decent right now. They're actually looking good. So yeah, we will see how the game goes. We're going to be getting into everything, covering everything you should know before this game is going to be played here this Saturday. So make sure you guys are subscribed around here to this channel. And on that, let's cue the intro and get right into today's video. Alright, so real quick, let's take a recap look here at Nebraska's schedule, what they have gone up against. They went up against Illinois in the first game of the season, lost that game 30-22. Then they bounced back against Fordham, beat them 52-7, beat Buffalo 28-3, lost to number 6 Oklahoma at the time, 23-16. Obviously, Oklahoma is still a good team. They have been having some struggles offensively, but I mean, they're still a talented team. So Nebraska being in that late, having a chance to win the game was very huge. And they followed that up with the overtime loss to Michigan State, 23-20, a huge heartbreak there, as they really could have won that game. They had it in the bag if they just did not let that punt return, but they did end up losing that game. Then they blew out Northwestern 56-7, and now they play Michigan at 7:30 in their home territory, and it seems like they are playing their best football right now. You know, Scott Frost, obviously a lot of questions for him at Nebraska, but they're 3-3 right now. And I mean, right now they are not a bad team, and quite frankly, I think Nebraska might even be better than Wisconsin, just because they have the balance of offense and defense being good, where Wisconsin, their offense isn't there yet. So Nebraska will be almost a game just like against Wisconsin, going to be going on the road, and we'll see if Michigan can handle it. I think, obviously, I think they will. Michigan is a solid team this year, but Nebraska is really playing their best football right now. Alright, so let's take a look here at the Northwestern and Nebraska game, as Adrian Martinez, he threw 11 completions on 17 attempts for 202 yards and 1 touchdown, 0 turnovers for him. And then rushing wise, we have Yent. He had 13 carries, 127 yards. And then we have Ramir Johnson, 12 carries, 74 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those are their two backs right there, Yent and Ramir Johnson. Those are their two best running backs there. And they did pretty dang good against Northwestern. Now for receiving, I saw a lot of Samori. Samori Toure had 2 receptions for 108 yards, and he had 2 great catches, and 1 was a touchdown. So watch out for him, as he is a good wide receiver for them. And then we have Omar Manning, who had 1 reception for 28 yards. Then we have Levi Falk, who had 2 receptions for 25 yards. Oliver Martin for 2 receptions, 18 yards. And those are really the biggest receivers, for that game. We take a look at the stats here. There was no turnovers by Nebraska. They forced a fumble defensively, and Nebraska's defense is actually really not that bad. They're actually really good. And Nebraska's total yardage against Northwestern, 657 total yards, 230 passing yards, 427 rushing yards, and 8.9 yards per play. That is really big numbers offensively. And Northwestern, they held them to only 293 total yards, 256 passing yards, and only 37 rushing yards. So altogether, they had a great win against Northwestern, played really good. And now we're going to go back to Michigan versus Nebraska. Take a look at this game here. They played a really good game. Should have really won this game, but Michigan State did pull away, won it on a field goal in overtime. Adrian Martinez went 24 for 34 attempts, 248 yards, he had 0 touchdowns and 1 interception, so he did make a mistake, and actually his only interception of the game was in overtime, and that's how pretty much they lost the game. Rushing wise, we have Amir Johnson. Obviously, he had 19 carries, 76 yards. Now, Adrian Martinez had 19 carries for 59 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in that game. So he was really running the ball a lot in that game, and he was just making plays out there. He did really good. So, really pretty much just taking away from Nebraska. They really love running with their quarterback. They run, their read option. Adrian Martinez is gonna like to run it against Michigan's defense, as obviously Rutgers was having some success doing that as well against us in the second half. So for receiving for that game, we have Xavier Betts. He had 5 receptions for 62 yards, and then obviously we always have here Samori Toure, who had 4 receptions, 40 yards. And then Austin Allen had 4 receptions, 28 yards. And that's really it. Brody Belt had 1 reception for 24 yards. Levi Felk had 1 reception, 22 yards. And that's really it from that game. Now, I'm not going to look at the Oklahoma game because I feel like that is just enough, enough information. But in that game, Adrian Martinez he went 19 for 25 attempts, 289 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and had a chance to win it there at the end. Now, obviously, Adrian Martinez did throw that 1 interception. He had that 1 turnover. But yeah, and then so against Michigan State, though, one thing to look at is they had 2 turnovers, 1 fumble loss, and 1 interception thrown. Michigan State threw an interception as well. The time of possession, though, was really crazy. Nebraska 37 minutes 28 seconds, and then Michigan State 22 minutes 32 seconds. That's really crazy. Guessing that's correct as well. I mean, that is a huge difference from the time of possession. So Nebraska is going to be a tough challenge for Michigan. Now looking at Michigan, finally, I know I did look at Nebraska for a while there, but obviously Michigan knows who Michigan is. They are a good football team. That's why I really mainly focus on Nebraska here a lot in this video. But they beat Western Michigan, who is actually 4-1 right now, having a good season. They beat them 47-14. Michigan beat Washington 31-10, beat Northern Illinois 63-10, beat Rutgers 20-13, struggled in the second half, but then followed that win up with another blowout win against Wisconsin 38-17. And against Wisconsin, Michigan did throw 1 interception. It was Alan Bowman at the end of the game, but other than that, they really have not turned the ball over. Their starters have not turned the ball over yet at all this season. So that is very cool. Michigan had a total of 365 yards against Wisconsin, 253 passing yards, and 112 rushing yards. Now, rushing yards, that might not seem a lot to you guys, but it is against Wisconsin. Wisconsin has the best rushing defense in the country. The first 3 opponents that they played, all 3 of those opponents combined had a combined 74 rushing yards, and Michigan literally beat that and had 112 rushing yards. That is very crazy, and that just goes to show that they had a great defense. Wisconsin does. Now for Wisconsin, they had 210 total yards, 167 passing yards, 43 rushing yards. So Michigan obviously blew them out. Michigan forced 2 fumbles and 1 interception, and the defense was just playing stellar that game. They got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. If we get a lot of pressure on Adrian Martinez, it could be good, but then again, he is a very mobile quarterback, so he can escape in the pocket, so we just got to watch that. Now for Michigan, in that game against Wisconsin, for passing, Cade McNamara, he was 17 for 28 attempts, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, obviously no turnovers. He hasn't turned the ball over at all. JJ McCarthy had that 1 great throw to Dalen Baldwin for 56 yards, and that was a touchdown pass, so that was a really great play from JJ McCarthy. Hassan Haskins, he had 19 carries, 47 yards. He is obviously the Thunder. Blake Corum is the Lightning. He had 15 carries, 46 yards. And obviously look for those 2 to, really bury the ground game against Nebraska. Roman Wilson, he had probably his best game, definitely his best game this season. He had 6 receptions, 81 yards in that game, including a great acrobatic catch on 3rd and 10. That was a crazy catch, great play from him. Dalen Baldwin had that 1 reception from J.J. McCarthy for a touchdown, 56 yards. Cornelius Johnson had a great game as well. He had 2 receptions, 47 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eric Gall had a great game too. He had 3 receptions, 28 yards. Mike Samuelson, 2 receptions, 15 yards. And that's pretty much it. Obviously, Michigan has a great wide receiver core. They just need to use their talent. And Roman Wilson making that catch, that really made me happy, because that's the kind of plays these receivers can make. I know they can make those plays, and that really brought a smile to my face. So now that we got all the stats out of the way, and actually one more thing here, Michigan on ESPN, they are right now a 3.5 point favorite as of right now. This will change throughout the week, just so you guys know, but right now currently they are a 3.5 point favorite against Nebraska, but ESPN is predicting Michigan to win this, 63.2% chance to win it. Nebraska has a 36.8% chance to win this game. Looking at the total yards per game on the season, Michigan 436.8 yards per game, and Nebraska has 504 yards per game. So they have more yardage per game. Michigan has more points per game, 39.8. Nebraska 32.3. Points allowed per game, Michigan 12.8. Nebraska 15.5. And then yards allowed, Michigan has 285.8 yards per game allowed. Nebraska 322.7 yards per game allowed. So obviously Michigan's defense is better than Nebraska's, but is Michigan's offense better than Nebraska's offense? That is actually a question, because Nebraska has a good offense. Michigan does have a good offense as well. They really like to run the ball more though. So we will establish the run, I'm assuming, against Nebraska, and I think this will really, maybe get us the win. But I do think we will pass the ball as well in this one, but we're going to probably be running the ball a lot, just because against Wisconsin we only ran it for 112 yards, and obviously that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a lot against Wisconsin. So that was a great performance by our offense, and hopefully they follow it up against Nebraska. Hopefully we are passing it and running it and have a great mixture on offense. And yeah, I'm going to take Michigan winning this one. I'm going to take Michigan winning this one 42-21. I think it will be Michigan winning it by 21 points, and I think our offense will succeed against their defense. They do have a pretty good defense this year, though, as obviously Michigan State only scored 20 points in regulation and 23, including overtime. And really the teams... Illinois was the only team that scored the most points. They scored 30 against them and beat them, but that was them. That was Nebraska at the beginning of the year. They obviously weren't as good as they are now. Nebraska is playing their best football right now. I'm going to still go, though, Michigan 42-21. I think Michigan will, their offense will do good. I think their defense will do good as well, but I just think Nebraska's offense is pretty good, and I think Adrian Martinez will run it a lot against Michigan, and I think our defense might struggle against that, so I'll give them 21 points. But Michigan, hopefully they do good. My score prediction might be wrong, but we will see. Can't really tell that much, but I do know that Michigan should win this game. It is going to be it could be a close game. You never know. It is a night game at Nebraska. Nebraska is playing good football, but Michigan is as well. So, we will see. Another test for Michigan, though. And yeah, other than that, guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe for more. I'm pretty sure I got everything I wanted to say. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this game. And other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.